There you go. So we're going to be discussing benchmarking and how to price a property and what sort of things do we look at when we're pricing the property? What are the different types of valuations out there? What are those valuations about? Do they have any impact on it or don't they? But yeah, let's kick off. And let's start off with, the word and the definition benchmark. What do you guys think that word means?
Measure up. It's comparing two things, three things to one another.
That's nice.
I think it's a sweet spot, isn't it?
A sweet spot. Shane, what do you say? He's going to have to take that camera out of his room and actually plug it into his computer now so we can see him.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's laying in bed.
Yeah.
No, I've actually got my chair back. I'm laying in my chair looking at the presentation. I don't know.
What do you think benchmark means?
Isn't it position?
Position. Pass. Anishka, what do you think?
Comparison.
Okay, comparison. Anishka?
Isn't it what the buyers are willing to pay?
What the buyers are willing to pay?
Like the in between the market value, what the buyers are willing to pay. It's like the in between.
The in between. Anyone want to add anything else?
I think similarity.
Similarity. No, very nice, guys. So, I mean, you're all basically spot on. It's a standard or point of reference against which things may be compared. We evaluate something by comparison with a standard. And when we are evaluating a property, that's exactly what we're doing. We're comparing it to what else is currently in the market. We're finding a standard, a benchmark, or a point of reference, and we're measuring this property up against that one. We're sort of trying to compare apples with apples or bananas with bananas. We don't want the banana and then compare it to the apple and we go, well, the banana's got a very odd shape compared to the shape of an apple, So that's benchmarking, or the definition. Again, what determines the price of a property? Now, apart from the three things that are stipulated inside our presentation, okay, there's one or two other things that do play a role. And I want you guys to just think a little bit out the box, apart from the three things. So past sales price, competition, and market statistics. What else do you think influences the price of a property?
What your property offers.
What your property offers, yes.
The condition of your property.
Condition, nice.
Location.
Location, nice.
The neighborhood, the neighbors' properties.
The neighbors' properties, yes.
Isn't it what the market is willing to pay for the property at the moment, whether what market you're in?
That's it, the type of market that you're in. So again, what sales have recently taken place in the area? Michelle, you mentioned neighborhood. What's happening in the neighborhood? What's happening with other properties? Again, we know the current competition. So what are you competing with at the moment? Market conditions. Time on the market. Can't remember who said condition of the property, but condition of the property. Location. So those all influence or have an influence on the market value of a property. Now, I'm not going to talk about recent sales and current competition and market conditions because we've covered quite a bit of that during the listing presentation. But if we have a look at the condition of the property, let's say the property is an absolute dump. Okay, and when I say dump, it's got some cracks, it's got some roof leaks, you know, it's got these old carpets that are worn through. The kitchen, you know, is a kitchen from, you know, 1888, when Harcourts first started 150 years ago. The bathroom is as ancient as Noah's Ark. And, you know, these guys want to sell their property in Lambton. And the upper end of Lambton in Germiston, it's got 2,000 square meters, but the condition is really bad. This is a real fixer-upper. Now, looking at the reports we looked at yesterday, or the suburb reports and the town reports for Germiston, we know that the properties in the Lambton area sell for around 1.3, 1.4 upwards. Okay, so nice sort of price range. But let's say this specific property that needs quite a lot of work comes in onto the market at 800,000 Rand. What do you think is going to happen?
It should sell fast.
It should sell fast. Shane, why do you think it should sell fast?
Because a lot of in my personal experience, a lot of the clients I've worked with in Lambton, they'll rather look at something they have to put a bit of money in. But at the end of the day, it becomes something that they create something out of it that they specifically want. So if let's say the property in a perfect condition was worth 1.8, but it comes onto the market at 800,000 because it's got 500,000, depending what you do, repairs to it. You're gonna have more clients interested in that, because a lot of clients will be more interested in spending the 500,000 and personalizing the place to their specification than buying something at 1.8 and then spending 500,000.
Nice, very nice. I like your response. Anyone else want to add anything?
I think it depends, Hilton. If I take my personal experience on when buying properties, I've never bought a property that I could just move in. You know, I've always taken the walls down, changed the bathrooms, changed the kitchen, changed the painting, you know. And from my experience, the most expensive stuff to change is the kitchen and the 2 bathrooms. You know, that's quite costly. So I think from my experience, you know, I never look at the way the person lives and stuff. I look for structural damage. You know, I look for roof's quite expensive. I look for structural damage. But walls, gates, painting, tiles, bathrooms and stuff like that can easily be repaired. So if I know that I could make 500,000 after spending 500,000, then I would definitely look at that property as an option. If the space, I buy land based on the space, you know, the land space. So I think I agree with Shane. It depends on the condition and what damage there is. If it's cosmetic damage that can be repaired, I would also be prepared to buy that property for 800.
That's it. Gavin, you wanted to say something.
No, I don't think I would buy property like that, because if you're going to be spending 400,000 or 500,000 Rand and you don't flip that house like really, really quickly, you've lost so much money, because it doesn't matter how much money you put in, you're going to wait 5 or 6, 7, 8 years before you actually realize that value. So no, I'm out.
Perfect.
Yeah, but that's looking at it in an investment perspective. If you're gonna live there, buying a house for 800,000 and spending 500,000 in the Greater Lambton area, let's say Klippoortjie, those places, then you're up to 1.3 if you spend 500,000. Buying a house there for 1.3 you would not get.
So yeah, again, you know, it does come down to the preference of the buyer. You know, some buyers don't mind doing some work on a property, and you know, for myself as an example, I mean, I just bought that property in Sunwood Park for 950,000 Rand, and the houses in the same style, same shape, same size, everything are selling for 1.7. And the price, the work of the property is quite a bit, but the price was so appetizing that when I put my offer in, I was competing with 12 other buyers for that property. So the condition of the property wasn't great, but the price was in line with the condition. And that's what made it appetizing to the market. And the reason I'm talking about this is people always go, yeah, you know, if the condition's not that great, you know, it's not going to sell. And I'm of the opinion that if the price is connected to the condition, it will sell. So for argument's sake, you've got a dumpster. So it's a dump, you know, a place where people go and dump all their rubbish. And it's next to a squatter camp. And the price is right. Someone's going to buy it. So pricing does play a major factor when it comes to property, no matter what the condition is. Could be falling to pieces. But if the price is right, it will sell. And always have that mindset when you are going to go and see a client. When you're walking through a property, yeah, there might be quite a bit of work there. But you've got to have in your mind that if the price is right here, it's sold, it's gone. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. The flip side of this is, if you've got a property in, call it the Boksburg area, and it is, call it extremely neat. It's not the most modern property. Hasn't got the best finishes, but it's neat. The kitchen is tidy. There's nothing wrong with the cupboards or the countertops. The bathrooms, they're not the most modern. You know, they've got some of these old pink tiles in them, and the pink basin and the pink toilet. You know, and the little doily that goes over the toilet as well from Omar. The bedrooms have still got carpets in them, but the carpets are neat. You don't need to paint the property out because it's fairly recently been painted, but it's neat. Everything is neat, not ultra modern, but it's neat. And the price is right. The property walks off the shelf because the buyer can move in and live in that property and make any alterations and changes at their own time. It doesn't have to be immediate. Coming back to condition, if you're sitting with a property that has been completely modernized, bathrooms redone, retiled throughout the whole property, nice modern paint colors, and you know, a jacuzzi spa bath that could fit 10 people in it. Fortunately, it's only the husband and wife that are bathing, not an army with them. And this whole house has just been modernized. The cupboards have been replaced. It just looks immaculate. And it's priced slightly higher than the average house in that area. The chances are it's going to sell. Because the person that buys it doesn't need to change anything. Everything's already in its place. So they're going to achieve a higher price. So condition does play a role. And as long as the price is in line with the condition, that place is gone. It's going to sell. So if you walk into a dump, don't go, oh, I don't know how I'm going to sell this thing. You know, unless the owner tells you, you know, it's a property at the bottom of Elsburg, and he goes, Michelle, I want 1.8 million rand for my house. You know, then you can go, oh, I'm not sure if we can do this for you. We're going to do our absolute best and let's see what the market says.
You know what I noticed when the people were coming to view my property, they didn't look at the property, eh? They looked at the way I live, my furniture, my decoration, and you know, and like this guy, when I handed over the keys now to him, he hardly knew of half the stuff that was there. He didn't know because now the house is standing empty. And he's like, what's that? I said, I showed you. It's an extra bathroom in the entertainment area. Oh, I didn't know that. What's that? And he knew hardly anything. They look at your furniture. They look at the way you live and the way you've decorated. And some people don't have that creative mind to picture their furniture in that particular space.
That's it.
So I find that it was much easier for me to sell my property with my furniture in than when I had to sell it when it was completely empty.
Yeah. A property with furniture always sells quicker or better than a property without it. Location. Okay, so location does play a massive role. But when you look at our listing presentation and you look at the 3 things that we talk about, we don't mention location as one of the 3 things, and there's a reason for it. The reason we don't talk about it too much is because when we show the client the report on what has recently been sold in the area and what they're competing with, we are only looking at properties in their surrounding suburb. I'm not comparing properties in Sunwood Park to properties in Park Rand. I'm not comparing properties with Lambton to properties in Park Hill Gardens, even though they're 2 like borderline sister areas. I'm looking exactly where that house is and what's happening in that little suburb with the houses there. So location plays a big role, but you got to narrow it down to that specific suburb. You can even go as deep as to narrow it down to that specific complex or that specific estate. So East Village, an example, I wouldn't be comparing properties in East Village to properties outside of East Village. Doesn't make sense to. So you want to dig as deep as you can to that location. If you're sitting in a situation where the location, the suburb, has only had 1 property sell in the last 12 months or 6 months, then you have no other option but to start looking at surrounding suburbs. And go, right, so there's only 1 property that sold in Lambton in the last 12 months. It was 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 1,500 squares. I've got nothing else I can compare it to here. Let's move out to Park Hill Gardens and see what's happening there. Let's move over to Kliphoek and see what's happening in Kliphoek. In Sunwood Park, I'd be going, right, let's see what's happening in Park Rand. Trying to branch out just slightly further to see if I can pick up anything else that's of similarity or that offers something more or less the same. But location, you want to dig as deep as you can so that you're comparing apples with apples. You've got a nice standard to work against when you're benchmarking. So in East Village, which is an estate, I love that estate. It's easy to benchmark because I sold a couple of properties there. So when I'm sitting with a client, I just go, that one sold for that much and it offers this. This one sold for that much and it offers this. That one sold for that much and it offers that. How does your property compare to them? Well, you've got this, they've got that. They have this, you don't have that. It's easy, nice. Jobs made easier. But it's digging deep when you're looking at location. And again, the Lightstone report that we looked at yesterday helps a lot with that. Okay, so let's talk about the types of property valuations that we get. And I know we've already mentioned a couple during the trainings. And when you're sitting down with a client, you're going to get clients that are going to say to you, but my municipal bill says this. My bank says that. My insurance company says this. I think that. You're going to get different types of valuations. And the first valuation that you get is an insurance valuation. Now, an insurance valuation has got no influence on a market-related price. And the reason for that is, it's because an insurance valuation is worked out on replacement cost. If that property burnt down today, what does it cost today to rebuild it? Brick for brick. So my mom and dad's house, which is only worth about between 2.5 and 2.7, is valuated for 4.5 million Rand from Standard Bank Insurance. I mean, that's a huge difference. But it shows you what the cost of replacement is versus the cost of market value. The next is a bank valuation. So a bank valuation is almost similar to ours. They look at the same things we look at. They are quite interested in what is the market doing and what is the market-related valuation. But their valuation is more about, is there enough equity in the property that should the buyer default on his bond repayments, there's enough equity in this property for us to resell it and gain back our money that we lost or that the buyer defaulted on. It's all about how much equity is in that property. And if the loan amount that somebody's trying to get from the bank is higher than the amount of equity that the bank finds in the property, the bank's not going to give the full value for it. They will go, we will only evaluate that property or give a loan up to R1 million. The offer's for 1.2, the buyer must come up with a 200,000 Rand deposit. Because we don't find more value than 1 million Rand in it. That is also one of the dangers of overpricing a property. Is you might get a buyer that comes and pays you 1.4 million Rand when it's only worth $1 million. But when it gets to the banks and the bank goes, sorry, we don't find value for more than $1 million, your client now has to put a 400,000 Rand deposit down. And then you lose that deal. And also the client's going to go, well, yeah.
Majority of the time, if that happens, then the buyer doesn't really want that property because they've notified that they don't have value in the property.
Exactly. The buyer's been notified, the bank doesn't find value. So now he must, in other words, pay 400,000 Rand more for the house. So it doesn't always happen, but on the odd occasions, it has happened to us, where the offer is higher than what the bank finds value for the property, and the deal collapses because of that. So that's a bank valuation. So if a client says to you, yeah, but FNB came to evaluate my property and they told me, it's worth X amount. You can say, yes, quite right, but that's based on equity. Okay, they just want to know, is there enough money in this property and the value of it that if they loan against it and the buyer defaults, they can get their money back. The next one is a municipal valuation. Municipal valuation is a thumb suck valuation. Okay, they're out of the air, and that is what is used to determine your rates and taxes. So if your client goes, yeah, but my property is valuated at 1.5 million, you go, yeah, that's what the municipality is valuated at. And when last did they actually send a proper qualified valuator to your home to come and have a look at the finishes, the condition of your home? They haven't. It's because they do a Google desktop search where they've got a system that outlines the size of your property and the stand size, and based on the square meters of your property and the property under roof, as well as the location or the suburb that you live in, that's what they base the value on. So it's got nothing to do with a market-related valuation. It's simply there to work out your rates and taxes, and it's done through a Google desktop search. You might also get a client that calls in an independent valuator. Now, I don't have them here on this sheet, okay? But an independent valuator is a qualified valuator. I'll give you an example. We had a property in Sunwood Park. The guy's been on the market for 8 months at 1,750,000 Rand. Old kitchen, old bathrooms, not inside an enclosed area. Old property, really old property, neat but old. Been on the market for 8 months, 1,750,000. He's got 8 agents marketing the property. We had the opportunity to go in, sit with him, meet with him, and discuss stuff with him. And when we got to the pricing, he said to me, look, I want 1,750,000 because that's what it was valuated at. And I said, well, Frank, that's fine. I said, but I wanted to find out, how did you get to the value of 1,750,000? You've told me it's been valuated. Who valuated it at that? He goes, no, well, there's a guy from Pretoria, an independent valuator. He came through, and we paid him like $1,500 for his valuation. He opened up his little wheelie thing, and he came in and took measurements of the house and the stand and this thing and that thing, and that's the valuation he sent us. I said, well, Frank, look, what he did wasn't wrong. I said, but what he's based the valuation on your property is he's based it rate per square meter. I said, he's not compared it to other properties in the area. I said, so rate per square meter versus what the market's prepared to pay is two different things. So he went, oh. I said, let's have a look at some properties down your street, around the corner, but offer more or less the same as you, and let's see what they're actually on the market for. And we had a look, and they were all on the market between 1.4 and 1.5 million. So we were almost 300,000 Rand overpriced. I said to him, oh, Frank, if you need to sell your property, we need to be between 1.4 and 1.5. So he looked at me, Shaman, he was an old guy, 82 years old, on an oxygen tank, an accountant by trade. So still quite sharp up here on Frank. He looked at me and he goes, okay, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense. So I'll tell you what, I don't want anything less than 1.4 million in my pocket. So let's go to market just under 1.5 and let's see what happens. I said, well, Frank, that's perfect. We listed the property and we sold it 2 days later for 1,490,000 Rand. The importance of getting that price as close as possible to market value. My own property that I've just listed it. Listed it on Sunday afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Last night I sold it for full asking price.
Sold it last night?
I sold it last night.
Well done.
So, you know, and I sold it for 25,000 Rand more than what any other 2-bedroom has ever sold for.
So who gets the commission?
I do. Most commission I've ever earned on any sale.
Full 100%.
Full 100% commission. But again, you know, it was taking the principles that I know and applying it to the sale of my property as a seller. And it was an interesting exercise for me to do, being in the position of a seller for the first time and watching my wife's reaction. That was interesting for me. Because she doesn't do my business. She doesn't sell houses. She hears stories here and there. We talk about things, but she's never been a seller before either. And she said to me last night, so just explain to me, why do you have 2 buyers coming at the same time? I said, well, love, that's one of my strategies is I need to get us the best price for the property. And the only way to do that is to create buyer competition. I said, oh, okay. She says, does it work? I said, well, I'll tell you when we've got our offer. And we had our first buyer come in. And as the first buyer was leaving, they sort of said, oh, no, we absolutely love it, you know, but is there a bit of room to negotiate? I said, of course there is. I said, but, you know, present me with a written offer and we can take it from there. Oh, okay, no, thank you very much. We'll give you a call a little bit later. The next client that came in, they all like brushed shoulders as they were leaving and coming in through the front gate. You know, it's like buyer rivalry. And the lady came in, she had a look, she had a chat and this thing and that thing. And she looked at me and she goes, tell me, what number am I in line for this property now? Because I see you've already had buyers through. I said, well, the good news is you're the first 2 buyers through. She goes, oh, really? I said, yeah. She goes, cool, I want to jump in front of these guys. What do you want for your house? I said, I want 1,565. Sorry, I want 565. 565,000. She goes, okay, where do I sign? She says, I want to steal it from these guys. So anyway, we're busy with the paperwork. She phones me afterwards. She goes, listen, if those guys up the offer to 570, you phone me first and I'll even pay more for it. So I said to her, don't worry, I'm not going to make you pay more for it. I said, you know, you put your offer in first. I'm happy to honor your agreement. And off we go. So my wife comes back inside with the kids and she goes, oh, how did it go? I said, oh, we've got an offer for the full asking price. She goes, no way. I said, yes. She goes, so your competition thing worked? I said, it works. Works.
Okay.
But that is playing the market up against each other. You know, and just coming back to one Frank's house that's now priced correctly, created the competition, and we could sell it within 2 days after it being on the market. And I, as a seller, got to experience that with my own property now. Apart from applying it in the marketplace with other people, I can use the same principles applied to my sale and Bob's your uncle. The recipe stays the same. And when you keep the recipe the same, that's when the magic happens. So just follow the recipe. The next valuation is one that we do. This is where we are the experts, is a market-related valuation. This is where we are comparing apples with apples. A 3-bedroom house that offers 2 bathrooms, swimming pool, garage, a nice modern kitchen against a similar type of property in the area. And again, the market-related valuation comes down to, or Anushka, I think it was you that said it, is what is a willing and able buyer prepared to pay for that property? That's what our valuation is. What is the buyers out there prepared to pay for these properties in this specific area? Alrighty. So the importance of pricing correctly. Now we know that our Harcourt stats tells us that our average price drop is 3.1%. And our average time on the market is 55 days. Okay, I actually think it's dropped to 51 days. Therefore, it goes without saying that if the properties we sell are the ones listed within at least 5% of the eventual selling price, it is vitally important that the agent is able to demonstrate to the seller what the correct market-related value of the property is. So between the 3.1% and the 5%, you can see we've sort of branched out a little bit from the 3.1%. Whoops. And there we go. So 3.1% on average is what we sell our properties for. That's the price drop we achieve on average. I list it for R1 million, chances are I'm going to sell it for around 970 on average. But if I just broaden that price drop to an additional 5%, or not an additional 5%, I stretch it from 3.1 to 5%. And I know that if I list that property within 5% of where the market value lies, I should be able to sell it within 55 days. So if it's a R1 million property, the property is worth around R1 million, give or take. And we go to market at $1.05 million, 5% more. Chances are I'm going to get an offer close to my R1 million. I might even get an offer of $1.20 million, $1.30 million, okay, because we're still close to the market-related value. But if I'm 15, 20% above the market-related value, that property is going to sit on the market forever. So when you're looking at benchmarking and you go, looking at the stuff, this property is probably worth around 1.4 million rand. That's where I think we could achieve this price. But the seller says to you, I want to start at 1,475,000 rand. Don't kick him in the shins, okay? Just go, sounds like a great place to start because you're still within that 5%. You're safe. It's the moment you're out of that that you've got to go, it's going to be a little bit tough. I've got to work on my repricing now. Does this make sense, guys? Okay, I've got a good couple of good nods. Shane?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool. So what to do pre-valuation. Before you even go and do a valuation, what is it that you need to go and do? What is it? What information do you need to gather?
You need to do your homework, your lifestyle report, your customer information.
That's it. You need some information. And I'm going to share it with you guys. So the first is, like Michelle said, you got to draw a lifestyle report or a property report, complex report, a suburb report. Okay. Now, I often get called in to go and help the agents and do property valuations and assist with a valuation or this thing or that thing. And I'm not familiar with the Benoni area at all. I have never, in my 7 years of real estate, sold a property in Benoni. Never. I don't operate there. I don't know the market there. I don't know. But when somebody asks me to go into the area, I've got access to a property report. I've got access to suburb reports, town reports, and I can start digging in and looking at all that information and looking at all of that, looking at what's for sale in the area. I can get a really nice idea of what the market trends are there. So that when I go in, I've got a very good idea. So even if you're operating in a new area, when you're comfortable with reading the information that you're presented with, you can quite easily benchmark a property. But it takes a bit of time, and you know, the eye gets trained, so you know what you're looking for. And this, it's all going to come back to you like driving on a bicycle.
I know. It has already.
And I can believe it. You know, it's like just getting back onto a bicycle,
Yes.
because you've done this all
Yeah.
before. You've experienced it. For those of us that
Yes.
haven't, it's our first time. It's just going, right, this is what I got to do. And like clockwork, just knowing what steps it is I've got to take. And you're going to be fine. Drawing the Lightstone report. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to be checking property 24 and private property for comparative properties or similar properties. Now, this just ties in with the conversation we had the other day when we did the listing presentation, and call it the pre-appointment phone call that we had, where the seller says, Gavin, I'm thinking of selling my house. Please, you know, come and have a chat with me. And there was a couple of questions we asked the seller. And then at the end, we would say to the seller, so please provide me with just a bit of information about your property. How many bedrooms, bathrooms? Has your kitchen been modernized? How many beds, how many baths and showers do you have? Is it a full bathroom? Isn't it? Do you have an ensuite? Isn't it? Is there a pool? Is there a lap? Are there carports? Are you in a gated secure estate? Yes or no? Getting all that information up front so that when you check property 24 and private property, you've got a list of things you can compare that property to. Okay, makes sense. Find benchmark properties for the suburb or complex. Find current competition for this property. Okay, so now you're just digging a little bit deeper, and it sounds like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again here. But it's digging a little bit deeper at each step. So first I'm looking on property 24, private property, what's happening in that area. Then I'm trying to find properties that are similar to this one. And then I'm digging a little bit deeper to find current competition. What is on the market right now? Forget the one that's been sold a week ago, or it's got a sold sticker, or it's unconditional, or what are we competing with now that offers the same things you do? And lastly, before your appointment, if possible, even the day before, is take a drive past and before the appointment and try and see if there are any other for sale or sold boards in that street, if it's a freestanding house.
Why?
And the reason for that is, if there's a sold board across the property you're going to go do a valuation at, and it was a Remax agent that sold it, what you want to do is you want to pick up the phone and phone the Remax agent and go, hey, Shirley, it's Michelle here from Harcourts. Listen, I promise I'm not phoning to poach you on any of your stock or to work on any of your stock, because that's the first thing an agent's worried about, is another agent's going to want to work on my stock. So just make it clear, I'm not phoning you about your stock. I just wanted to say congratulations. I see that you sold number 4, Frank Street. And I just wanted to find out, what did that property have to offer and what did you sell it for? Make some notes, write down the price that they sold it for. It might reflect on Lightstone, it might not. So if it reflects on Lightstone, you've got the information already. But if it doesn't reflect on Lightstone, phone the agent and find out. So that when you go and sit down with the seller and you're having a conversation around pricing and competitive properties, some stage in the conversation, he's going to go, Michelle, you know, I saw the neighbor next to me just sold for. Do you by any chance know that house? Do you know what it sold for? And if you can say, yes, I know what it sold for and I know what it had to offer, believe me, in his mind, he's going, this person knows their area. They know their market. They know what's happening here. Whereas if you sit there and you go, yeah, well, you know, I never sold that property. I'm not sure what that property sold for at all. Believe me, as a seller, he's going to be phoning that Remax agent and he's going to be going, I see you sold the property next door. What did it have to offer and what did you sell it for? Because I'm thinking of selling mine. What's going to happen then? The Remax agent's coming in to have a meeting with him. Now, that Remax agent has already built up some credibility for themselves because they've got a sold board outside the neighbor's property. Whereas if you can give him that information up front, he's already got what he was looking for. He doesn't need to go anywhere else. So just that's another tick next to your name. This agent knows what they're doing. They know their market. They even know what the house next door had to offer. And don't be afraid to pick up the phone and ask people for information. And you can say to the other agent, listen, I'm going to be doing a valuation in the area later this week. And, you know, I just wanted to know, what did the property have to offer? You know, I don't want to bother your seller. I know they've just sold their home and, you know, I really don't want to bother them. I just want to say congratulations as well. You know, what did you sell the property for and what did it have to offer? Bedrooms, bathrooms, you know, was it nice? Wasn't it? They're more than happy to share it with you. You might get the one agent that goes, no, I'm not telling you. Believe me, the day he phones you, you just say to him, listen, sorry, I'm not telling you. Yeah. Or you can, you know, turn around and go, you know what, last time you didn't want to help me, but I'll help you. You know, pour heaps of coals of shame over their heads. But that's why we take a drive past that area, is so that we know what's going on. You know, there might be a house for sale and a house that's sold in the street. You need to know, what is the house down the street on the market for? And what does it have to offer? Phone up the agent who's listed the property. You just tell them, listen, I want you to work on your stock at all. I just wanted to know, what does it have to offer and what are you on the market for? I'm doing a valuation in the area and I'm just not sure what this house has to offer. Become the area expert. Right, the appointment process. Okay, guys, and this is where, apart from our listing presentation, this is what sets us apart from the rest. This is what allows us to operate on a different battlefield. It's not so much the marketing and the technique and the strategy. That's all bells and whistles and it's fantastic. And every agent out there can do those. They just don't. But it's the process that we follow that leads to the result that we're looking for. And Anushka had that process firsthand. The rest of you are going to get it, I promise. So appointment process. So this is when you're at the client's property, you've rung the doorbell, they're opening up the front door and they're going, hello, Gavin, nice to meet you, please come on in. What do you do when you walk through that front door? What has to happen? Now, the very first thing is, in my opinion, go and have a look at the property. Say to the client, why don't we have, you know, if it's late in the afternoon, listen, why don't we take a walk around your property? Please take me through your beautiful home, you know, while we still got some good light. And then when we're done, we'll sit down and have a bit of a chat. Is that all right? Yeah, sure, no problem. Where do you want to start? Oh, well, let's start here in the living room. Okay, cool. Give some guidance as to where you want to start. So view the property. Let them take you through the property. Okay?
Sorry,
Yes.
do you start making notes there, or is that not kosher?
No, don't make any notes there about the property. Okay? So don't make any notes there. All you're doing is they are taking you through the home and they're showing you the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and this is where you're going to build some rapport with them and have a conversation with them while they're taking you through. So for argument's sake, you walk into the kitchen and you can make a comment, gee, this is a stunning kitchen. When did you guys do the kitchen? And they're going to go, no, we did it like 10 years ago. And you can go, well, listen, the kitchen looks so good. Looks like you guys did it literally 3 or 4 months ago. Your bathrooms are absolutely stunning. I mean, this must have cost you about 120,000 Rand, if not more. Yeah, no, you're quite right. That's what it cost us. And I can see this is stunning. I love your attention to detail. The tiles, oh my gosh, the tiles. Listen, that's the tiles my wife would love, or my husband, or, walk into the bathroom and the bath looks like it's a pond. Make a comment, oh, gee, my wife would love that bath. House is sold, she's buying it for the bath. Build some rapport with your client. I mean, the clients that Anushka and I went to go and see, we walked into the ensuite bathroom and the first thing I went was, check the size of this bath, So the wife came like behind us at the door, then she's going, yeah, no, we put in this massive bath because my husband and I, we bath together. That's what we do. We don't have this whole, his legs in the air behind his ears and, I can't sit, we want to bath comfortably. I mean, that's the conversation we had in their bathroom. Now, believe it or not, we like talking about their sex life here, okay? I mean, we were talking about them bathing together. Guys, the ice is broken, okay? We don't need to try and do any, ice is broken. We've had a good laugh, we've had a good giggle. I said to me, listen, my wife and I are exactly the same. The next property we buy, it's getting a bath like this in it. And they're just going, gee whiskers, yeah, no, these guys see value in our bathroom and what we've done with it. Build some rapport. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Just find the sweet spot. Don't come across as fake. Be genuine. If you really think the bathroom's nice, make a comment. And remember, nothing negative before the mandate. So while you're walking through, you don't say anything negative, even if there is a problem. You lock your tongue behind your teeth and you bite it if you need to. Okay. While you're walking through the property, you can ask the seller. So, guys, what is your expectation here? What were you hoping to sell your property for? You can ask them there. See if they answer you. You can ask them. So what is your expectation, or what is it that you guys are trying to achieve by putting your property on the market? Where are you going? Guys, you've got such a beautiful property, as you're ending off the walk. This is a really, really nice property that you guys have got here. And, from what I've seen in the marketplace, I really don't believe this is going to be a difficult sale. Should I sell your property tomorrow? Where are you guys going to go? And by asking that question, they're going to start telling you what it is that they're doing, where they're going, and why they have to go. And before you even get to the seller type page, you've got an idea of what motivation they have. You want as much information from them as you possibly can get. And the only way you get that is by asking questions. Now, then what you need to do is, once you've taken a walk around the property, you need to give clear instruction to the seller that you would like to please sit around a table. If they've got a dining room table that you saw, say, would it be possible for us to sit around the table, please? Okay. Try not to sit opposite them. Try and sit diagonal to them. You are more than welcome to sit with you in the middle and one on the left, one on the right, because then they confront each other and they're facing diagonal to you, which is less confrontational. Okay, psychology here. Position yourself that you're not directly in front of them. If there's no other way, well, there's no other way. Sit there. If there's no dining room table inside the house, and they've got a nice little wooden bench outside that can sit 4 people and it's got space for your laptop and your documents, ask them if you can go sit there. So much easier when you're upfront and personal with them. then they're sitting on the one side of the living room and you're sitting on the other one and you're trying to show them a document that they can't see. Believe me, it's a nightmare. So find a table, and that is where you show the seller the property report with proper qualifications during your listing presentation. So when you sit down, you're going to pull out your listing presentation and you're going to start with your agenda. You're going to advise them about their hidden costs, rates and taxes, water and lights 3 months in advance, bond cancellation fees, 90-day penalty notice to the bank. And then you're going to start with your presentation. You're going to get your let's talk price, ask them what they were hoping to achieve, or if they've already told you, remind them, you know, you guys mentioned to me you're looking to achieve X amount. Is that still the case? Yes, it is. Right, I've got a couple of reports I'd like to take you through. And this is where you show them that. Show the seller the benchmark properties. If you're in a position to take your laptop with or a tablet with and go through the photos of the properties, do it. Show the seller the benchmark properties. And then once you've shown them all the information, take all your focus and attention and put it onto the current properties that they're competing with. Don't worry about past sales. Focus on what it is that they're competing with now, and you ask them the question. So guys, based on what we've just looked at, where do you think your property needs to be positioned in order for you to be competitive and to try and achieve the best price? And keep quiet. Let them talk to you, because they're going to tell you stuff. If the client does what we did with Gavin, and the client goes, no, Gavin, I've got no idea. That's why I've got you here. Then you go, right, well, we've all had a look at the same information. You know, if I look at this property and that property, I'd probably say these are the two that are most similar to yours. What do you think? Yeah, no, I agree with you. Okay, so this one's on at 1450. If we have a look at this one, you've actually got a pool and they don't. Your kitchen's also slightly better than theirs. However, they've got a bigger ensuite bathroom and a bigger main bedroom. But I definitely think your property is slightly better than theirs. But if we have a look at the other one, they're on at 1490, and they offer garage space for 4 vehicles where you've only got 2. They've also got a swimming pool. They've also got a nice kitchen. So based on what we're looking at, I'd probably say you're between a 1450 and just under 1490. Where do you guys think we should maybe position ourselves? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Hilton. Every seller thinks their property is great. Now, why don't we go at like 1485 or 1489? What do you think? No, I think that's a great place to start. Okay, great stuff. All we've done is we've just gone a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until we've got them to commit to some sort of price or give you some sort of figure. Don't be pushing. You're probing the whole time. You're showing, probing, just asking the right questions and leading them to where they need to be. Okay. And that is the end of the benchmark document. What I am going to show you quickly is just an example of benchmarking. I'm going to share my screen with you all now. So there we go. We've got property 24 up here. I don't have a pen with me. So someone give me a suburb.
Delville.
So say that again.
Delville.
Delville. Okay, so let's go Delville. Delville in Germiston. Okay. And the property we're going to be looking at is a house. And let's say the property that we are going to see has got 3 bedrooms, and and it's got 1 bathroom. And it doesn't have a swimming pool. It doesn't have a flat. You know, it's just a standard little home here. It's got 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in Delville. And let's see what comes up. Okay. So here I've got a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom property with parking space for 6 vehicles, and it's 1,000 square meter, 1,500 square meter stand, which is pretty big, for 1,250. Here I've got another property, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, the same one, I assume. No, could be. Lots of space. I just want to see if it's the same property, yes or no. No, 2 different properties. Okay, which is fine. So there we've got 2 properties, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and they've both got parking space for 6 vehicles, and they're both around 1,500 squares. Look at something else. There's another one, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, parking space for 3 vehicles.
Photos on the one underneath it, I'm just saying.
Sorry, say that again.
No, I said the picture, the second house was terrible photos.
Yes, it does. So here's another property, 4 bedrooms. Okay, here's a renter rooms. It's got 12 rooms, 4 bathrooms. We're looking for a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Okay, so I've got a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Yeah. Looking again, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Okay.
What did you do, Hilton?
Why? Oh, what I did was I just right-clicked on it. Where is it now? There we go. I just right-clicked and said open a new link. So here it is here.
Oh.
So I just opened up a separate page for it. So now I can see there's only 1 property in the Delville area that's got 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And it was on the market for $980 and it's sold. So now I'm going to be looking at this other property that I'm going to. I know it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It's pretty standard as well. And let's see, you know, how does this property, what does it look like? What does it have to offer? So it's pretty standard. It's got carpets, old fireplace. Oh. Bad carpets. Gavin's face says it all.
Sorry.
No, don't. Okay, so it's an old Delville home, but it's got pressed ceilings, okay, spacious bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and it's only got a bath. Okay. I've got someone in the picture that's being sold with the house.
Sure.
Got
The
an
house isn't.
It's hectic, eh? And you're going to be working with sellers like this, guys. Promise you.
I'm going to be itchy when I get into the car.
Double, it looks like they've got an outside room here. Okay, another outside room. Double garage, oh, 1 garage or double garage there, it looks like. Doesn't have much of a garden at all. Everything's paved and they've got...
How much? There's bugger all.
Got bugger all. Okay, so I've got a really good idea of what this property has to offer. It's the only 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house in Delville at the moment that's for sale. Now, when I go and have a look at the property I'm going to go and see, and we're having a look at this one, I'm comparing it to this one, I'm going, how does this one compare to it? Because this property has been on the market since the 2nd of November 2020. So it's been on the market for quite a while. It tells me that the price was probably a bit high for $980 since it's been on the market for so long. So they probably sold it at around 900,000. Now already I know in my mind, 900,000 Rand is my benchmarked figure. It's the figure I'm working with. 900 to about 950, the figure I'm working with. How does the property that I'm going to evaluate now compare to this one? And if it's better than this one, it's going to get 900 upwards.
Okay, Hilton, so in this case, you've only got one property to benchmark with. Does that mean you can't go to the neighboring areas?
I could go to a neighboring area, but if I went to a neighboring area now, I mean, if I know my area quite well,
Yeah.
Ellsberg's prices achieve lower prices than Delville. Tedstonville's prices achieve lower prices than Delville. And there's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's another area past Delville that's got residential homes at this price range that I can compare them with. Because if I go
South?
Say that again.
Germiston South?
Germiston South, we can have a look. So we can do that. Let's have a look. So I mean, here we've got a 4-bedroom house with 1 bathroom, but it's only got 4 bedrooms versus 3 bedrooms. So there's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom Germiston South. There we go, Germiston South, 850, typical Pat McClure. So here we've got one at 850, which is almost 130,000 Rand less than the one in Delville.
But isn't Delville like, I know it's much, isn't it same as Park Hill Gardens?
So Upper Delville is, but in Park Hill Gardens, you're going to find the norm, even if we go and have a look. So let's pull in Park Hill Gardens as well. Remember, we're looking for 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. So there we go. There's a Park Hill Gardens, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, 1.7. Park Hill, 4-bedroom, 3 bathrooms. Wait, here's one Park Hill, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom for 185. What's that?
That's my house.
Is this your one? Did it only have 1 bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it had a cottage.
Oh, but you had a cottage. I mean, there's a nice addition to that as well. And I mean, but if you look at your finishes in your property, I mean, you can't compare the 2 houses together at all. It's like chalk and cheese. Well, the agent could have taken better pictures for you.
Yeah. She took it off her cell phone.
No.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
She took it off her
I mean,
cell
look.
phone.
I mean, look how beautiful your bathroom is. So, I mean, stunning property.
Now, in that case, because we said that in the bathroom, rather take the towels out.
Yeah. I mean, look at your kitchen. I mean, it's beautiful. It's modern. It's up to date. So you compare this property to this one, Germiston South. Away. There we go. Or this one over here in Delville. 2 different types of properties, 2 different price ranges. And you can bring this one in. So what you could do is, you could say to the seller, look, here's a property in Park Hill Garden. So it's a couple of streets up from you. It also has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, although it's got parking space for 8 vehicles. The stand size is similar to yours. But let's have a look at their finishes and the condition this property is in. The person that buys this property just moves and lives. They don't need to renovate or change anything. And they're on at 1,850. We have a look at this property in Germiston South, and you sort of cringe. And you have a look at this property in Delville, and you show them this one, And you go, look, Mr. Seller, we've looked at 3 different properties in 3 neighboring suburbs, okay, because we could only find one in Delville. They all have 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. They're all over 1,000 square meters, the stand. We've had a look at the 3 of them. One's at 1.8, the other one's at 980, and the other one's at 850. You know, based on the 3 that we've looked at, which property does yours compare the most to, and where do you think we need to be positioned in terms of price? Now, what you want to be doing is you want to be selecting 2 or 3 other properties as well. So let's say the average sales price in the area is 1.3 million rand. 1.3 million is the average sales price. You want to get a couple of properties in that area. You want to show them what does a property listed at 1.1 to 1.2 million rand look like, and what does it have to offer? What does a property at 1.3 to 1.4 million rand look like, and what does it offer? What does a property between 1.5 and 1.6 look like, and what does it have to offer? And you can maybe show them 1 of each in those price ranges, or 2 of each, or you can do it a property at 1.2, a property at 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. If the area goes up to 1.9, show them something at 1.9 and say, look, there's a whole list of properties. This is what they all offer. So in Sunwood Park, a property that is ultra modern, completely redone from top to bottom, you don't have to do a thing. You can pick it up for 1.9 million rand. Property that's okay. Yes, Gavin.
Sorry, Hilton, at this stage, would it be prudent to show customers your the photographs of the other people's websites, and then make mention that you know, the different packages or store?
What I would usually do is, and it's not always easy to do it, is here I show them the photos. I take them through it. So the photos that we're going through here, I actually take through with the client, and I let the client look at the property the way I'm looking at it with them. Okay. And by looking at different properties, you're going to see different photos and the do's and don'ts and the bad shots and the good shots. And I will try and sneak in or get in a property that we've listed in the area as part of my comparison that's got the professional photos and the video. So right there and then they're seeing the difference. If I haven't got a property listed from one of our agents there, I will then have a separate listing apart, and I'll go, look, Mr. Seller, we've had a look at a couple of properties as well. You know, just in terms of the photography, you know, this one's blurred, this one's light. You know, what we do is we take proper professional photos, and the photos look like this. And I'll show them what our photos look like. So you definitely can. Don't go into too much detail about what you're doing or why you do it. You just say, look, this is the sort of marketing that we would do on a property. And we also assist the client in staging their home. Now, not every property can be staged. You know, some of these houses in Delville and Germiston South, you can't. There's not enough space or room to do anything. But like with Michelle's property, you could. I mean, it's a really, really nice home, very unique features. Everything's in its place, and you're quite right, the furniture sells this property. So you definitely can, but you want to be showing them a couple of options. Then what you also want to do is you want to do this, and I'm going to show it to you now. Finding my little picture here. There we go. So what you then want to do is you want to take those listings from property 24 And you can use a little system or an app that's on your laptop called Snipping Tool. Okay. And what I then do is I snip the property adverts and I put them in the chronological order of most expensive to the cheapest. And I go, right, Mr. Seller, we've had a look at all these properties and I have listed them from the most expensive one to the most cheapest one. Now, we've all had a look at the same type of property. We've all had a look at different price ranges from just under 1.5 to 1.5 to between 1.6, 1.7, from 1.7 to 1.8, and from 1.8 to 1.9. Based on what we've looked at, where do you think you need to be positioned in order to be competitive? And be quiet. Let them determine where they fit in. Oh, you know, that property is quite similar to mine and that one as well, except I think my property is better than this one, but I think that one does offer a little bit more than me. Okay, cool. So do you guys think we should be listed at around the, 1.7 mark? Are you thinking of the 1.69 mark? Where do you think we need to be in between here? Let them give you the price. So it involves a bit of homework. It involves you investigating, looking, comparing, going through the photos, making notes of what the property has, what it doesn't have, and sitting down and presenting that information to you. Don't do what the other agents do. They walk in, oh, you've got a beautiful house. How much do you want for it? The average report says you can get 1.5. I think we're maybe listed 1.550. What do you want? Now I want 1.7. Okay. Can I have a mandate? Yeah, sure, if you can get me 1.7. Yeah, no, we'll do everything we can, and off they go. 6 months later, they still haven't sold the home. If we do our homework properly, we present the information correctly to the client, 9 out of 10 times the client arrives at the price that we're looking for, or within 5% of it. And we did the same exercise with Michelle. This is the exercise I did with Michelle when we did our first listing presentation live. And we quite nicely guided Michelle to where her property needed to be. She gave us the answer that we were looking for. So again, there's the process. The process followed correctly equals magic. And magic is property sold eventually. Okay. You're always going to get the one seller that is adamant and he goes, yeah, 1.720. Yeah, I still think my house is a bit better than this house. I want to try for 1.780. That's what the client wants to do. That's what the client wants to do. We'll go to market at 1.780. I'm not here to argue about price with him. Because if you argue about price, you've lost the mandate. Because someone else will tell him they can get him 1.780. Show them.
So I had a call yesterday from a friend of mine that said I must sell their friend's house, but I must go through Remax. I said, no, I'm not going through Remax. Yes, and signed a sold mandate with Remax. I said, yes. And then they sent me Remax. The lady's name is Bev. So I said to my friend, do you have the owner's number? So
Yeah.
she said, yeah. So she sent me the owner's number. I phoned the owner. The owner told me, no, his property's in Primrose. And the reason why he went through Remax, Bev is his aunt, and she's been very good to him and stuff like that. And he gave her the price of what to sell the property for because the house down the road sold it for that price. And I'm welcome to sell with Bev, but because she's based in Alberton and she doesn't know the Germiston area, but I must get hold of Bev. I didn't.
No, and you don't need to.
No.
You don't need to work with another agent or agency. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. But if you want a Harcourts level of service, you want a Harcourts agent, you want, call it top quality, well, sorry, we work on a mandate.
Yeah. So now I phoned my friend back and I said, thank you very much for the referral. However, we do things a bit differently. And I explained to her and I said, the fact that he's got a sold mandate with Remax, I'm not prepared to work on the property.
That's it. Till that mandate expires and we're allowed in, you don't have to work on it. Okay. Guys, any questions around benchmarking?
No, I think we got
I'm
it.
good.
Okay.